Sorry about that, babe.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to another unboxing. This time we're going to be taking a look at Dragon Warrior on the NES, as well as a variety of other things that came with it, or you were able to acquire from outside sources, namely, I guess, Nintendo Power. We're going to be reading some stuff, but we're not going to be doing a super duper deep dive into everything, more of an overview. Unfortunately, the box for this isn't in great shape. Your mystical quest begins. Search out the Dragon's Lair. Epic role-playing adventure here. Yeah, the box isn't in the best shape. My other boxes for 2, 3, and 4 are in much better shape. I might get a condition upgrade one day, but for now, it'll do. Dragon Warrior, the epic beginning of a new era in video games. Mere finger speed and sweat are no match for the challenges of this game. You'll be required to use deductive reasoning, not a quick sword to defeat your enemies. All is darkness. The Dragonlord has captured the princess and stolen Erdrick's powerful ball of light. You are Erdrick's heir. To you has fallen the most dangerous task, to rescue the king's daughter and recover the mystic ball of light. Your mission is deadly, but it is your fate. Prophets have long foretold your coming. 3 keepers await your journey, each ready to aid you with a mystic item of great power. Gather 3 objects, scribes will record your deeds. Use cunning and wisdom to choose your commands. Gain experience, weapons, and armor as you battle your way through the world. Rest if you must. Search out the Dragonlord's lair and face your destiny in this role-playing adventure. You are the Dragon Warrior. So, obviously pretty early RPG here, especially for the console. Good news is it does have a battery backup and no passwords, which is awesome. And the battery backup does still work on this cart. You can see some screenshots here. Nothing crazy, just some general early mid-game stuff. But yeah, let's take a look at everything on the inside of the box. Unfortunately, I do not have the standard RPG piece of cardboard, as you could see, but you know what, I don't even know if it would fit because I've stuffed it with extra stuff that the game didn't really come with. So who knows, they're already a tight squeeze. First, let's take a look at the cartridge and the manual. There's the dust sleeve. And the cartridge isn't in perfect shape, but this is my original copy from my collection, so I felt like keeping it. I kind of pieced everything together over the years. But yeah, it's in good enough shape. It's not totally mint. There you can see the gold sticker, which indicates the battery backup. But the battery backup still works, the cartridge still works, and I'd say overall it's probably like an 8-ish out of 10 in the condition variety, so good enough for me. Put it back in the dust sleeve here. And let's take a look at the instruction booklet. Now I have a reading section coming up. This is my second time recording, because my first time my cat was banging into my setup and it was going boom, boom, like every like 20 seconds, so I had to redo it. But long story short, I ran out of time with reading on the one part, so I gotta read faster. So we're gonna take a look now. We got the map of Alefgard, which is pretty cool. I love all the artwork that you're gonna be seeing. It's just very reminiscent of the 80s. Good times for all. Here's the story of Dragon Warrior. In the olden days of yore, the realm of Alefgard was cloaked in darkness. According to legend, a brave warrior Erdrick brought back light to the land by defeating an evil being. He used balls of light bequeathed to him by a friend to drive off the enemies of Alefgard. He then gave the balls of light to King Lorik, who unified Alefgard. The land was at peace for many generations. In the time of King Lorik the 16th, the balls of light were stolen from the Tentacle Castle by the evil Dragonlord, and once again the kingdom of Alefgard was plunged into darkness. Many travelers fell prey to the merciless fangs of the monsters, and the beautiful countryside was transformed into poisonous marshes that hindered travelers. It's also rumored that several towns and villages were destroyed, wiped off the face of the land by ghosts and dragons. Many brave warriors tried to recover the balls of light, but none of them ever returned to Sharlock, the Dragonlord's dark castle. The people longed for peace, but did not give up hope. The great seer Maheda predicted that one day a descendant of the valiant Erdrick shall come forth to defeat the Dragonlord. There, I read really fast. I actually beat myself. Here we go. Who is this brave soul? There is only one possible answer. You. Your quest is to find and defeat the evil Dragonlord. The time has come. This is the start of your adventure. And there you go. Featuring the epic green dragon. As I said, I'm not going to be reading everything here. For the most part, the manual gives you the overview of how to play the game, the various menus. There's actually a lot of menuing going on in this game. For those of you not in the know, like you have to select stairs in order to go up and down stairs. It's very archaic. I think this came out in 1986, if I remember correctly, at least in America. Also, I think this was packed in, like if you were a subscriber for Nintendo Power, I'm pretty sure that you actually got this game for free, which is pretty cool. You know, it's not the most complex RPG, you know, I would argue that Final Fantasy trumps this in almost every way, but there's something very, very charming, and I've said that for as long as I can remember in my review that I did a few years ago, Dragon Warrior is just charming. It's a lot of charm, it's a lot of nostalgia, especially if you had it back then. I didn't, but I did play it during my college years, which, shoot, at this point, guys, was already, well over 10 years ago. What year did I graduate college? Like 2009 or something like that? Wow, yeah, it's a long time ago. Anyway, there you saw all the spells, which I actually did have all of them. And you get some tips and tricks to help you along in your quest towards the back of the manual here. Pretty useful stuff. And then obviously the last pages are always like warranty and warnings, all that kind of crap. But now that we looked at that, let's get into the meat of the stuff that is inside the package. Like I said, not everything came with the game, but most of the stuff did. I will try to do my best to be as accurate as possible. I think the 3 things on the left came with the game, but the one on the right definitely did not. Explorer's Handbook is pretty legit. We'll look into that further later. But first, let's take a look at this double-sided poster. Now, I'm not positive where this came from. I really don't remember. I don't know if this came in Nintendo Power. I don't know if this was packaged in with something else. I do not think it was packaged in with the game, though. Could be wrong, but who knows? This is a double-sided poster. The one side has really cool Dragon Warrior artwork. I'm actually thinking about framing it. I mean, look at that, dude. That's so sick. That is 80s RPG written all over it. And on the flip side, we have maps of all the dungeons in the game, which is actually pretty cool. It definitely helps aid in the experience of the vast quest when you unveil maps on the table or wherever you're playing. Unfortunately, for this map, if it had feelings, I didn't use it that much because I was using the Explorer's Handbook throughout, but because of that, I might actually frame that. And here we have the Dragon Warrior Adventure Guide, which is basically a quick reference card regarding your levels, experience points, where you should be on your journey, what's your main goal, what kind of monsters should you fight, and what kind of build you should have as far as weapons, armor, and shields. It's a pretty good overview to keep you on track, so to speak, throughout. I did actually use this. I didn't utilize it to a T, but I did have it out throughout my entire playthrough, which we ended at level 19. I typically don't bother past 19 because you don't really need to. I think the level caps out at 30, but that's a lot of grinding, and this game is already very grind heavy, so. Next, we're going to be taking a look at a very loved, used, and worn, but you know what, it's still intact, double-sided map. The one side, again, is another map of Alefgard with labeled areas, and then short little, like, zoom-ins, as you can see, that are also numbered. And there are note sections next if you wish to write notes, which could be pretty helpful on your first playthrough, especially back in the day, without, you know, computer notepads and the internet and all that type of stuff. And on the flip side, probably the more interesting part for me is a bestiary, a monster identification chart to be specific. But the thing that makes it cool is it has an outline of the world map, and it breaks down where you fight the specific monsters. So for example, I point out the red section here, you would fight all those types of enemies in the southwest general area of Alefgard. So pretty cool if you're looking for a specific enemy to fight or farm, you could utilize this map to find that out. I used it a little bit throughout my playthrough, but not too much. This guy, though, this guy was the be-all end-all for the playthrough. The Explorer's Handbook is great. It pretty much walks you up literally until the last boss of the game. Gives you pretty good advice. I will say that for here and there are mistakes and typos, mostly revolving around how much things are worth in coin, whether it be on this or some of the other things that we've looked at. But, I mean, look at this artwork, man. And not only is it, laid out very well with really good eye candy, fits inside the box, it gives you a really good step-by-step go through what you should be doing. Yes, there are some things that they tell you to do that you technically don't have to do to beat the game, but overall pretty cool. And at the end here you have a kind of a recap of the saga as well as a shopper's list, and of course the index to look things up quickly. Really highly recommend tracking this down. If you don't have it and you actually plan on playing Dragon Warrior at some point in the future, it's very useful. Next is another thing which I think again came from Nintendo Power. I got it on eBay recently. It's another cool double-sided poster. Definitely not Dragon Warrior on this side, guys. Nope, it's the Contra variety, Super C, Super Contra, with some buff soldiers. But on the flip side, we have another map of Alefgard. However, in my opinion, this is the best map of Alefgard because not only is it laid out very well, labeled, you also have the shops and special items to find where they are, which town, city, whatever. There are some mistakes as far as how much things are worth on here, but again, overall, it is fairly accurate and pretty cool, and if I were to use a map outside of the Explorer's Handbook, I would prefer to use this one on a playthrough. Lastly, we have the Nintendo Power Strategy Guide. So I really like this thing as far as the looks. It's very, very cool. Again, laid out very well. This came inside of Nintendo Power, I believe. But I was very disappointed in it. The more that I actually looked at it, I realized it's not a very good strategy guide. Yes, it kind of goes over a lot of things. It like expands on the things that are inside the manual. Again, you got cool artwork, cool layouts, so on and so forth. And it does start you off. But this strategy guide cuts you off so quickly. I can't remember the exact... I think it cuts you off at Garenham, which is roughly 1/4 to 1/3 through the game. Like, the Explorer's Handbook carries you to the end, where this does not. This is a very, very, very previewy Nintendo Power Strategy Guide, which, to be fair, they did do that a lot back in the day, where they won't kind of walk you through the whole game, but I was actually shocked at how quickly it stopped. Yes, you have map and dungeon layouts here, which is great. Obviously, you have many other ways you could find them. But look, it cuts you off at Garenham. That's just nuts to me, because there's so much beyond that. And ultimately, I ended up not using it that much. This section's pretty good, the ultimate questions, to find some of the very important items throughout the game. But yeah, I don't know, man. It's not that great. It's cool to own, looks great. There's some cool stuff to read and look at, but ultimately, the Explorer's Handbook is the way to go. And I couldn't recommend it enough. But anyways, guys, that's kind of about it as far as what I have for Dragon Warrior. I don't know if there's really much else to have for it. If there is, other than, you know, random mail-away inserts and stuff, feel free to let me know. But I've been doing my best to try to get most things that are related to Dragon Warrior, whether they came with the game or, you know, related in Nintendo Power various publications. As you can see, the stacking just never ends here. But it's a very classic game. I felt the need to do this video for you guys and show everything off. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already. And I'll see you guys in the next unboxing, and take a gander at all the Dragon Warrior stuff. Take care.